Hi, my name is Darlene Spear. Still amazing, isn't it? When I was in my mid-20s, I was divorced from my first husband, and I had to get a job because I was poor, so I went to work for Sears. And that's when Sears was in the old building, not the one it was in when it got closed down, but the whole other end of the mall. I worked in the back room where I marked price tags on new clothes that came in. And it was interesting, and it was kind of fun. And that's where I met Dave. Dave was a really nice guy, but he was really shy. I was hoping he'd ask me out, but he wouldn't, didn't. So one day, when this guy came in with a load of stuff on his trucks, he was a little truck driver, and he was kind of cute. So I flirted with him, and Dave got jealous. So after the other guy left, Dave asked me out, and I said yes. We made a date for the next Saturday night. So he wanted to take me to San Francisco. He loved Aliotos, and that's where we had planned to go. Well, let me tell you this. Back in the 60s, any guy who would take you down to the city was, woohoo, a great date. So I was really thrilled about that. What didn't thrill me, though, was the day of our date. All the clothes in those days, or all my clothes in those days, were dry cleanable. And they didn't have wash and wear in those days. And I took them into Coddingtown, and I put them in, it's like looks like a big old washing machine, but it cleaned your clothes. And so I left them there while I went next door to get my hair done. Well, the guy was busy with somebody else's hair, and he had to redo mine, and by the time I got out of there, I discovered the cleaners had closed early because it was Saturday. I could not get my clothes out of there any which way. So I realized I was going to have to tell Dave that we'd have to postpone our date. So I happened to be in my jeans at the time, and I went over to Sears where he worked. And I told him, you know, I have nothing to wear but my jeans or my bathing suit. And he very coyly said, well, I'd definitely rather you wore your bathing suit, which for some reason got me seized. I was mad at him for saying that. But he sent me over to his sister works in the ladies department, so he sent me over there to see if she had something she could loan me. Well, that would have been lovely, except she was about 5'2", eyes of blue, and a size 4, and I was born in a size 12. So that didn't work out. And I went home and I was like, ah! But I went through all my clothes, and I did find a little jersey dress that was ironable. So I ironed it. And I was still seething because Dave said that about he'd rather I wear my bathing suit. So I was a little, let's see, precocious isn't the word. I was a little bit of a stinker in those days, okay? When Dave came to pick me up, I looked really good. As I recall, my measurements in those days were 39, 24, 37. I was stacked. And he saw me with my coat on. Beautiful big coat. It was black and white cashmere. My first husband had gotten it in Chicago. He worked for a coat company, so he got leftovers free. And I had my hair all done up. I had beautiful, what looked like diamond and pearl earrings and a matching necklace, which was my mom's. And I had the coat, and then I had black nylons on with black high heels, leather, really nice high heels. And we chatted a little else. He hopped in the car and he says, "Oh, you look gorgeous." And I said, "Thank you." And I just had this secret little smile. I was loving it that he didn't know. So we get down to San Francisco, to Aliota's, and of course, our table isn't ready when we get there, so we're gonna have to go sit in the lounge where you can drink. And I swear they just overbook so they get everybody in the bar. Well, the bar was right next to the ladies' bathroom. And I was chatting, we were all chatting, there was a whole group of us at the table. And Dave was on my left side, and then just past him on the end of the table was another man, whom I didn't know. But Dave finally said, "Well, I see you found something else to wear besides your bathing suit." And I knew this is what he was going to say, and I was untying my belt to my coat. And I opened my coat up to show him I had on a bathing suit. It was blue and red, swirly, looked like a go-go dancer's outfit. And then from the midriff down to the bikini bottoms, it was black nylon, which went lovely with my black nylon legs. And anyhow, he dropped his jaw. The guy next to him dropped his drink, spilled it all over himself. And I shut my coat, nobody else saw. I shut my coat and said, "Excuse me, I need to go to the ladies' room." And I went to the bathroom, where I slipped on that little jersey dress over my suit. And sure enough, my coat covered it perfectly. So, when I got back out, our waiter was there. It was time for us to go to the table. So we go to the table, and Dave sits on the opposite side of me, of course, and I'm on the side that's to the aisle and the people in the restaurant. And the waiter asked me if he could take my coat. And I looked at Dave and I smiled sweetly, and I turned my back to him and let the waiter take my coat. He came across the table trying to stop me from taking off my coat. Poor guy. It's a wonder he didn't hurt himself. The dress covered everything perfectly, and I looked like anybody else. You know, it wasn't real dressy, but it was sharp enough to be in Aliota's. And the poor guy was flabbergasted all night. He just couldn't get over it. And after we got home, It was really a lovely night. But after we got home and he dropped me off, he was still shaking his head. And the following week, he asked me out for the next Saturday night. Well, the next Saturday, I had just made a date with Gary Degnan. And so I told him, oh, I'm sorry, I'm busy on Saturday. I didn't bother to tell him I wasn't busy on Friday because he had a twinkle in his eye that looked really devious. And I knew he had some real revenge in store for me. So the following week, he asked me out for Friday night. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry. And this is true, I just made a date with Gary Degnan again for Friday night. So after that, he pretty much gave up. All right, I finished working in the back, that's what it was. I ended up outside in the toy department, so I didn't see Dave all the time. I always wanted to publish this story in Reader's Digest because I hoped that Dave or one of his children or grandchildren or someone who knew the story could tell me what the heck he had in mind for me. And I never found out. Sorry.